Relay network using MIMO network technique. Abstract wireless long-distance communications need network sensing element relays to confirm reliable transmission, since direct communication isn't reliable. Economical transmission by rising transmission force and increasing gain across completely different intermediate terminals transmit input and output terminals. Many major investigations on ways for the development of such relay networks are undertaken. This project focuses primarily on simulating two differing types of relay networks among the assorted ways. One is that the use of ancient MIMO techniques exploitation multiple antennas for multi-hop communication at input and output. The second technique is that the utilization of spatial diversity producing relays from STS. It's particularly useful to introduce the STS relay via MIMO, as a result of it eliminates the large-scale attenuation generated by shadowing effects. In order to extend the information rate and capability as the other ancient antenna system, the MIMO system may be improved. MIMO may be separated by ways, spatial multiplexing, SM, and split secret writing into 3 teams. Thanks to the next variety of antennas on the sender and recipient facet of MIMO, the data rate is multiplied and facing a decay, there'll be a distinct path that isn't long faced with decay. Keywords MIMO, STS, SM, MATLAB, Relay, Preceding, Fading, Burr. Introduction. High capability and high knowledge rates wireless network trend technology. Multiple input multiple output, MIMO, systems will manufacture high knowledge rates and capability. This text focused on MIMO and space-time dissemination systems, STS, combined method techniques because the MIMO systems feature a large number of transmitting and receiving antennas capable of generating a lot of knowledge, and STS can embody channel length compared with SISO, SIMO, and MISO systems. MIMO is that the means radio transmission and receiving antennas square measure processed and increased. The recent development of wireless networks and applications involves the event of 802.11n, Wi-Fi, IEEE 802.11ac, Wi-Fi, HPSA+, 3 grams, and WiMAX, 4 grams. MIMO refers to multiple antennas and transmitters and receivers during a wireless network and that we square measure focusing this work on the sensible thanks to transmit and receive over one knowledge signal at the same time through constant multipath radio channel. MIMO's basically totally different technology from the technology of intelligent antenna improve the performance of one knowledge message, like diversity and beam shaping. The MIMO systems will improve the information rate and therefore the capability of alternative antenna systems. By victimization a lot of antennas on the transmitter and receiver facet, the channel travel are going to be accumulated. A bigger variety of antennas may be wont to avoid attenuation by selecting and following the signal path. 3 major classes may be analyzed in MIMO: precoding, spatial multiplexing, SM, and writing diversity. Precoding may be a multi-stream beamforming analysis method. Additionally, all spatial process occurring at the transmitter is viewed normally terms. The only stream beam shaping method is maximized, during which the signal is emitted from every antenna, in line with section and weight gain and therefore the signal power of the recipient. The most benefits of beamforming square measure the accumulated signal gain from the positive propagation of the antenna and therefore the reduction of multi-way attenuation impact. The transmission and beamforming of the line of sight ends up in a clearly outlined directional pattern. Standard beams, that have a in the main multipath propagation, aren't an honest analogy in cellular networks. With the multiple antennas the sending beam forming in the least the receiver antennas cannot at the same time optimize the amplitude. This usually needs the multi-stream methodology of precoding that improves the output. For precoding, info concerning the channel state, CSI, on the transmitter and therefore the receiver is critical. Area time unfold is basically a right-of-way link to the wideband video disk multiple access, CDMA, division of code, and with the utilization of a restricted antenna output of a video disk, a brand new area technology impressed by area time codes. Any low variety of antenna performances involve one or a lot of antenna parts. Recently accepted in Unleash A of the IS 2000 band CDMA customary, the abstract STS-based proposal for 2 transmitter and 1 receiver antennas and facultative diversity. A relay network is the topology of a network that's used normally in wireless network applications, wherever supply and destination square measure connected via Schur nodes. Network supply and destination cannot communicate as a result of the space between them is bigger than the transmission vary. Methodology. This article proposes that the MIMO and another STS relay networks be created which the distribution of relays be settled. In MIMO and channel relay that's referred to as trans receiver, MIMO is employed by 2 channels, each node with the trans recipient is the customary MIMO. The most tool chest is the user access to come up with bound varieties of random bit streams, transmittal the band performed by BPSK and also the threshold price of 0.5 every signal is within the kind of a 0 or 1. The BPSK 1 and 1 signal. As a result of we have a tendency to use 2 halves with 2 transmitters and 2 receivers, we've got to use a relay channel wherever noise is increasing exponentially. The design of the MIMO is causing knowledge from transmitters to recipients. This means associate exponential decrease in signal strength. The transmitter 1 and a pair of are recurrent on double white mathematician noise is supplemental to the relief channel. The transmitter adds Kronecker mathematician frame of reference to convert the information to Kronecker, then transmits one signal input changed and another signal like this solely transmits while not modifying the signal, then each in MIMO the signal is increased then on the channel processed. It should repeat twice for the input A and also the input B. The transmitter and relay and recipient is the method. Once constant vary price is collected, then the bit rate of error is h advanced, what number bits are transmitted and transmitted. Exponentially in relay the amplitude is reduced. If knowledge exceeds 0.5 then knowledge 1 and fewer than 0.5 are going to be considered 1. The error of all values 0 is 0. If there is a amendment, there is miscalculation. This method is recurrent for sender A and B, looking on the length of the packet. As an example, the method is recurrent 10 times by 100 packets of bits. The graph will be drawn with each outputs. Conclusion. The new house unfold schemes for the forward link of CDMA systems boost diversity gains while not the transmitter having been required to work out the channel unfold coefficients. MIMO and STS are the foremost fashionable technique in recent analysis and relay network. The lack of a theme implies that every user's knowledge set of knowledge values will unfold codes in an exceedingly completely different manner on every transmitter antenna. Multipath will be improved, and therefore the receiver kind rake will increase the extra gain in diversity. Extra antennas and improved pilot signal to estimate the multiple antenna coefficients helpful for the mobile. The pilot signal power is inverse proportional to the transmission antenna. Its potential to estimate the hyperbolic channel estimation error and substantial profit in diversity. This thought of the STS approach of 2 transmitters and 1 receiver antenna will be found within the ISO 2000 normal and contributed to STS being enclosed within the normal. The benefits of STS that stay to be quantified are the mitigation of each the ability management downside, still because the intercell interference downside. Hyperbolic diversity implies that changes to power don't ought to occur as often. Dividing the downlink transmission for every mobile among 2 or additional spreading codes ought to create the interference seem additional mathematician and wider in alternative cells. An alternate approach that teams users rather than substreams was bestowed in 1 and will be additional appropriate for in no time attenuation channels.